The studio lights glow warm and steady, but something colder fills the air the moment Reba McEntire settles into her chair. The audience is excited, clapping loud enough to shake the set. But Reba's smile is soft, almost cautious, like she already senses the storm brewing beneath the table. Joy Behar leans back, tapping her note cards, pretending to be relaxed, though everyone on set knows she's been itching to steer this conversation in a direction the producers warned her to avoid. The show begins normally enough. Sunny tosses Reba a gentle question about her new tour. Whoopi nods thoughtfully, and for a moment it feels like a regular morning on The View, but Joy is watching Reba closely, eyes sharper than usual, waiting for the smallest opening. And she gets it when Reba mentions home and the values she grew up with. Joy's shoulders tighten with anticipation. "So, Reba," Joy says, voice warm but edged like a blade hidden in velvet. "When you say values, you mean Southern values, right? The ones everyone keeps debating lately?" The audience murmurs. Reba straightens subtly, not defensive yet, but alert. Reba answers calmly, explaining that Southern culture is more than the headlines. More than stereotypes, it's family, tradition, work ethic, pride. Joy nods along, but her expression shifts into something that isn't agreement. It's bait, and Reba sees it. Whoopi glances toward a producer off stage, sensing the shift. Sunny folds her hands, bracing. The audience feels it too, a tension that crawls beneath the applause. Joy leans forward, elbows on the table, voice lowering just enough to feel personal. "Reba, don't you think the South is the real problem here?" Gasps ripple through the crowd like a wave. Reba's smile drops instantly. She stops breathing for half a second, her eyes locked on Joy with a look that freezes everyone in place. Even the cameras hesitate, zooming in slowly as if afraid to interrupt the moment. The studio goes completely silent. The kind of silence that feels alive, waiting, watching, daring someone to speak first. Reba's lips part slightly, but no sound comes out, and then, just as she begins to inhale to answer, Joy lifts her eyebrow, unapologetic. Unblinking, the screen fades to black. The show snaps back from commercial break a little too fast. Like the producers couldn't decide whether to delay the explosion or let it detonate live on air. Reba sits with her hands clasped tightly in her lap, the tension visible in the way her fingers keep tightening and releasing. Joy, on the other hand, looks almost energized, as if she knows she crossed a line but isn't quite done crossing it. Whoopi tries to smooth things over. "Let's bring it back, okay? We're just having a conversation," but Joy cuts in. "No, I think we should finish what we started. Reba, you were saying something about how the South is misunderstood." She puts air quotes around the word, pacing her voice like she's constructing an argument she's already decided she's going to win. Reba lets out a slow breath, lifting her chin. "Joy," I said, "the South is more than the stereotypes, more than the way it's portrayed." Joy shrugs sharply. "Yeah, but come on, tradition is just a nice word people use to avoid admitting the real issues." The audience reacts instantly, half gasping, half buzzing with tension. Sunny shifts in her chair, visibly uncomfortable. Sarah looks down at her cards as though reading them might save her from what's unfolding. Reba's voice drops lower, steadier but more dangerous. "Joy, I grew up in the South. I know my people. I know my community. You're talking about millions of Americans like they're some kind of joke?" Joy's reply is immediate. "I'm talking about accountability. Something your Southern pride doesn't always like." The room erupts, audience members murmuring, a few booing, a few clapping. Producers wave their hands frantically from off-camera. Reba's eyes narrow, not in anger. In hurt, deep-rooted hurt. "Joy, you have no idea what you just started." Joy smiles, a thin, sharp smile that doesn't reach her eyes. "Oh, I think I do." Chaos brews beneath the polished surface of live television, but the audience only sees the edges of it, camera angles tightening. Stage managers signaling wildly, just off-frame. Hosts shifting in their seats with rising panic. The tension is no longer subtle. It's alive, crawling across the set like electricity. Reba sits perfectly still, but something in her posture has changed. She's no longer just responding, she's preparing. The kind of calm that comes before a decision that can't be undone. Sarah tries to intervene gently, offering a soft, "Let's all breathe for a moment," but Joy laughs under her breath, a quick, dismissive sound that the mic still catches. That's when Reba leans forward, her voice steady but carrying the weight of years. "You know, Joy, people talk about the South like it's one big stereotype. But the truth is, we're talking about families, veterans, teachers, farmers, folks who give more than they take. You reduce them to a punchline and then wonder why they're tired of being mocked." The studio audience reacts loudly. A mix of applause, gasps, and shifting discomfort fills the room. Joy opens her mouth to fire back, but this time, Reba doesn't pause. "I've spent my life traveling this country. I've seen kindness in places you'd dismiss without a second thought. Maybe that's the problem, you've decided who people are without ever knowing them." Joy interrupts with a sharp, "Oh please, Reba. Don't act like culture gets a free pass. Tradition is just the excuse people use to stay stuck." The audience instantly boos. Louder this time. Genuine outrage. Whoopi rubs her forehead. Sunny mutters, "This is going too far." Sarah looks like she wants to disappear. A producer steps onto the stage edge, waving a red card in emergency cue, almost never used. But Reba doesn't raise her voice. Instead, she gives a small, pained smile, one that hurts more than anger ever could. "You think I'm stuck?" "No, Joy. I think you're stuck. Stuck in your own idea of people you've never met." The crowd erupts again. Joy's jaw tightens. Reba pushes her chair back. The sudden scrape echoes through the quiet moment after the applause fades. She stands slowly, placing her mic down on the table with deliberate care. A nearby camera picks up her whisper, soft but unmistakably clear. "I won't be part of this." Reba's chair is still spinning slightly when the audience collectively inhales, unsure whether to clap, gasp, or sit frozen. The entire studio seems to tilt as she rises, her boots clicking softly on the floor, each step somehow louder than the cameras. Louder than the murmurs, louder than Joy's stunned silence. Producers rush toward the stage edge, unsure whether to cut to commercial or let the moment play out. Someone whispers, "Stay on her, don't lose her." And the cameras lurch forward awkwardly. Joy mutters something, barely audible, but it slips into the mic anyway. Overreacting. Typical. It's quiet, but not quiet enough. The audience reacts like a fuse has been lit. Gasps. Shouts, even a few supportive cheers for Reba surge from the crowd. Sunny's eyes widen. Whoopi shakes her head like she's just witnessed a line being crossed so clearly it leaves scorch marks. Reba keeps walking, her back straight, shoulders lifted. But just before she reaches the curtain, Sarah blurts out, "Joy, that wasn't okay." Soft, but it cuts through the noise. Joy turns to her, defensive. "I'm just being honest. Isn't that what this show is about?" Whoopi snaps, "Not when you talk down to people like they don't matter." Her voice is low but furious. The tension between the co-hosts is suddenly its own wildfire. Producers step onto the floor. Now, something that never happens on live TV, one of them tries to gesture the hosts into a reset. But Joy brushes him away. She lifts her chin toward the audience, trying to reclaim control. If she wants to walk out, Joy says loudly, "Let her." The studio erupts, boos, shouts, hands flying into the air. The moment feels unstable, unpredictable. It's dangerous. And then, just as Reba is about to disappear behind the curtain, she stops. She doesn't turn around. She doesn't speak. She just stands there, completely still. Her silhouette framed by the edge of the stage lights. Something is coming. Something none of them are ready for. Reba stands at the edge of the stage, half in the light, half in the dark, caught between walking away and saying the one thing she knows will echo far beyond this studio. The audience leans forward as if pulled by a string. Even Joy, who moments ago was full of fire, suddenly looks uneasy. She wasn't expecting Reba to stop. She wasn't expecting this moment to hold so much power. Slowly, Reba turns. Not all the way, just enough for the cameras to catch her expression, calm but wounded, and done holding back. You know, Reba says, her voice carrying across the studio with the kind of clarity that only comes from truth. I came on this show today because I believe conversations matter. But there's a difference between conversation and condescension. Joy stiffens, trying to interrupt, but Reba raises a hand quiet, commanding. The audience falls completely silent. I'm proud of where I come from. And it's not because it's perfect, it's because it's home. Because of the people who raised me, taught me, supported me, people you dismiss without even trying to understand. She pauses, breathing deeply. You don't have to agree with them. You don't even have to like them. But you don't get to talk about them like they're beneath you. The audience roars with applause, loud, emotional, overwhelming. Joy attempts to respond, but every word she tries to speak is drowned out. Whoopi and Sunny exchange looks that say everything. This moment is bigger than the show. Reba's voice softens, but somehow becomes even more powerful. I'm walking out because I won't let you use me or my home to score points on national TV. I'm done. And with that, she steps behind the curtain. The moment she disappears, the studio feels hollow like the air's been knocked out of it. Joy tries to regain control, but the cameras catch her blinking fast, struggling to hold her composure. The producers shout orders. A stage manager signals to cut the segment. Suddenly, the screen glitches just for a second, as if the broadcast is straining under the chaos. Then a black screen, and over it, a breaking news-style graphic teases what's coming, leaked backstage audio. What Reba said after the walk-off. If you just watch this unfold, you know moments like this don't happen on TV every day. This wasn't staged. This wasn't scripted. This was raw, real, and impossible to ignore. Reba walking off that stage sent shockwaves through the studio. And honestly, we're all still trying to process it. And with that leaked backstage audio surfacing, things are only getting more intense from here. So if you want to stay ahead of every update, every reaction, every new piece of information dropping on this story, make sure you hit that like button, right? Now, so this episode gets pushed out to more viewers who need to see what really went down, and don't leave without subscribing to the channel. We are diving deep into what happened behind the scenes, how the network is reacting, and what this means for future live TV moments. You don't want to miss the next chapter. Drop a comment below and tell me, was Joy out of line? Was Reba justified? Your voice matters, and this community always brings powerful insight. Turn on all notifications, because trust me, what's coming next is going to shake daytime television even harder. Stay tuned. This story is just getting started.